All right, good afternoon. Hi, guys. It is, Thursday? And sorry we're just about 5-10 minutes late, but hey, it's my show. That's the way it happens. Sometimes it just rolls this way. It's a beautiful day. We got a really fun story for you today, fun show. We're coming to you from the Whitebird Clinic. And if you don't know what that is, you need to get educated. So we're going to do that for you today and explain kind of what the folks here do and have been doing for as long as I can remember. I came to town and one of the first stories I did was on something going on at the Whitebird Clinic. And then I was walking up here and there's a building next door and I don't remember what used to go on over there. I think it was part of this, but I did a story on a guy and he was doing some really cool counseling classes in the back. But it's this little place in the middle of Eugene that most of you probably would not even recognize and know, and they're doing some of the most important work and Bill Daniels, you know who they are. I know you do. So thanks for tuning in. Hey, Josh Kagi, it's good to see you all the way from Boston. So we're at the Whitebird Clinic upstairs. There's a big party this weekend on Saturday at the Hi-Fi Music Hall. And there's going to be bands and music and fun. And it's all to celebrate a guy named Bob Dritz. Now, Bob is a character. He's an interesting guy, and he's one of the cornerstones. If you're going to talk about how this agency started and who was important here. Hi, Leona. Hi, Stephen. Hi, Jocelyn. Welcome. You don't do it without talking about Bob Dritz. So we're going to talk first with Benja. Benja, you want to stand up here, dude? Sure. And explain to folks who you are and what you do here at Whitebird Clinic.
Hi, so I'm Ben Brubaker. I'm one of the clinic coordinators here, actually taking over for Chuck Gerard. I am also a crisis worker on the Cahoots van.
We got a guy named Bill Daniels. He says there were times I had to use the clinic in my past.
Good. I hope we were helpful. And then the gentleman we're talking about today, this here, if you can see that, okay, that's Bob.
That's Bob, man.
That's Bob Dritz back in the day. So he was clinic coordinator kind of when I started here at Whitebird Clinic. And even long after he left, him and I had a Saturday night date out at Fair, kind of unofficial, where I would go and ask him questions because he was a key kind of thinker and the piece of the key intellect of Whitebird Clinic. And I would, even for years after, meet him out at Fair late at night and pick his brain and talk to him about what was going on at Whitebird and what we could be doing differently.
In those early days, what did he see that others didn't see? There was a service, there was something, there's a hole in services that wasn't being
well, you know, I think Bob Dritz was a Reed College graduate, and so he came out with a really kind of progressive mindset, and he saw, I think, a lot of potential in Whitebird and what it could become or what it could be. And he, I think, originally started as a bookkeeper here and eventually worked into the position of the kind of clinic coordinator, which is like our executive director.
Somebody's asking, wasn't that the 70s?
Right. Well, it was a little bit, he came in after Whitebird had already been around for a while as a bookkeeper. He came in, I think, around sometime in the late 70s, early 80s.
When did Whitebird start?
Whitebird started originally back in the late 60s, and then we were incorporated by 71, I think, as a formal nonprofit. But even then, we were fairly small, kind of known as an outlaw group within the social services group.
Are you still an outlaw group?
We're less of an outlaw group now than maybe we were back in the day, but I think many of us, most people locally kind of see us as an activist kind of group that also is trying to provide services for people and again, kind of be the safety net below the safety net.
And you're just fine with that, right?
We're just fine with that. And one of the things that I think Bob really did is he kind of kept some of that mystique of us, you know, speaking truth to power on occasion. And even as he would be planning and implementing different kinds of projects or trying to get different things off the ground, he'd also be talking to people about what he really thought and was known to kind of not pull his punches. He was also one of the first people, as far as kind of my connection to him, that actually approached me when I was just starting here at Whitebird as a crisis worker on the phone lines and actually approached me to start doing presentations outside because he saw that I really valued Whitebird, what it was, what it represented to the community, and wanted to go share that information.
So, Benja, why is this party such a big deal? It's such a good thing for the community and for people to get part of.
Well, so we really wanted to do something to honor Bob, but we've also lost some other people really dear to the clinic, some of these key members of some of the foundational years of Whitebird, including Herschel, who has recently passed. And so we wanted to do something to honor Bob and also some of those other folks and you know, give a place where people could come and think about Bob a little bit. He very specifically didn't want a memorial service.
Really?
But he said that he was more than welcome to have like a bash. and
So
and,
this
want
is
it,
the badge.
and so we're seeing this not as a memorial, but as a celebration and as a party to kind of honor his wishes.
So what's going to be there? Kind of give me some details on the party.
So basically, we're going to do a little bit of a silent auction. There's going to be some music there. We have a couple people closely connected to the clinic, a former crisis worker here that's going to play a little bit. We're going to have Steel Wool that includes one of our board members in that band, as well as having Alder Street, and then our headliner is Baby Gramps, a well-known kind of face out at Country Fair and locally.
Steve Hawley's on here, and he says, I took a lot of people there to Whitebird in the 70s and 80s from work release, where I was a driver.
Yeah, and it's that the way that Whitebird kind of started as an all-volunteer effort that wanted to just create this alternative place for people to be able to come who maybe didn't trust mainstream institutions, didn't feel comfortable calling for the police or EMS or going to the hospital if something was going on. A lot of folks from the counterculture, some local professionals got together in the late 60s and really wanted to start something different. And Bob built upon those successes. I mean, one of those models that's been the most successful is our Cahoots program, and a lot of that was Bob pushing for seeing, like, how can we do this differently? How can we do mobile crisis intervention? How can we integrate with the public safety system? And I think that that's part of where Bob's strength really was he was able to, like, take what Whitebird already was doing, the rapport we already had with the community, and really build that into something else.
So when you say the safety net to the safety net, I like that, and I think we should. I mean, we're going to do that a little bit later. But I think I think people should understand what that means. What do you mean when you say that?
So what I mean is that a net has holes, and so there's safety net programs out there that are supposed to support people that aren't doing well, folks that are low income, need other kinds of assistance. Maybe they have some mental health issues, some alcohol and drug issues. That safety net's there meant to catch people to kind of help support them, but it doesn't always catch everyone, and that there's people that fall through that safety net, and a lot of times they end up at Whitebird, and we're kind of see ourselves as being a place that kind of tries to catch that group of folks that are otherwise falling through and get them connected with the services that'll help them kind of better their situation.
So how long have you been here?
I've been here about 10 years now.
Okay, so I'm going to guess that the need is not going away.
No, the need's not going away. One thing Bob did for Whitebird was that he was able to, like, take us from, a smallish kind of, renegade agency, and actually helped grow our programs and establish us locally in the community, and we've been able to continue to kind of grow from that. So the need's there, and we continue to try to find ways to meet that need as we see it come up, and that's meant expanding some of our programs, offering some more benefits assistance when we saw the Affordable Care Act go through. Also, Cahoots has been a wild success that I know Bob would be proud of, that we're now going 24 hours in Eugene, looking at an expansion to 24 hours in Springfield sometime this summer.
And other places, this is what's really cool, because we were talking, Benji and us were talking the other day, other communities are looking at that as a model, like the Cahoots as a model.
Yeah, and we're really trying to promote it. We're not interested in franchising right now, but we really want to promote the Cahoots model, and have actually been able to look at some of our statistics to show how much money it saves the local taxpayers, basically through ER diversion and things like that.
Bill says in his years working with homeless youth, this is a place, there are a great many kids who owe their life to the volunteers at Whitebird.
That's a really nice comment. I appreciate that. And it's true. Like, a big piece of what we do is provide training. We do trainings out in the community several times a month in de-escalation and communication. We also provide regular training for our volunteers here, many of whom go out and do really wonderful things out in the world and take the skill sets and communication and philosophy that we have here and bring it out to other places.
So give me one tip, since I'm here, that I could understand better. We see a lot of talk about homelessness and people with mental difficulties and things going on in the community. What's something I can learn from this, that somebody out there can just watch and learn from this?
I think if I could share anything, it would be this: is that we still are putting people into boxes, and though racism now is seen as something that is categorically disagreed with, if you go on a social media site and you follow an article about somebody who's mentally ill or somebody who's homeless, the things that people say on those sites, if you said the N-bomb, if you said a racial slur, that comment would be pulled immediately. But even the mainstream media sites, you can say trash, garbage, addict, filth about human beings, and that comment won't get pulled down. It's one of the last kind of bastions of bigotry is to look down on those that are, homeless, low income, have mental health or substance abuse issues. But my experience as a crisis worker and working here at Whitebird is once you really talk to the human being in front of you and really get a feel for why they're making the decisions they're making or why these things have happened in their lives, you start seeing that they're human beings, and they usually have really intense stories to tell that really explain a lot about what's going on for that individual. And that's really at the heart of Whitebird's philosophy, what we kind of call client-centered, like approaching each client as a human being first and foremost. And also trying to empower them, like not coming in as the know-it-all professional that's going to, you know, not going in as the know-it-all professional that's just going to tell them how to lead their life and stuff like that, but instead coming at it with a, you know, what do you know you need to be doing differently? How can we help support those things, those answers that you already have inside yourself, and how can we assist you in getting, you know, to those places you already want to go?
So are we less tolerant than we think we are?
I believe as a culture, I think that we're a little less tolerant than we are. I mean, look at locally here, the expansion of the rest stops is a really good example of the kind of chronic NIMBYism, the not in my backyard. You know, here's this really wonderful program with rest stops popping up all over town, and Whitebird is really seeing that benefit folks and get folks stabilized and get them back on their feet, and yet neighborhood after neighborhood says, no, we don't want them in our neighborhood. We won't have those here. You know, and I think that's telling of where we still are as a culture.
All right, Bidget, I'm going to go talk to Dee for a second. I love what you just were talking about. I think most of us want to be good people. We want to do the right thing, and but we just sometimes we don't really know how. And this is Dee. Okay, now you guys, I just met Dee, but does she got like the smile of a lifetime? I mean, you make me happy just looking at you. And we got the same color hair, so that really works for me too.
And we earned it.
Yeah, we did. Every one of them. So Bob, well, I mean, he's a great guy.
I adored the man. I had the pleasure of working with him from the spring of 1996 till his retirement. And he was one of the smartest, most generous, and added playfulness to that.
What's that mean?
Well, for example...
Like a story.
Bob's
not here anymore. He wouldn't care.
As a grant writer, I was brought in to help write grants because the agency was growing and he had way more than a single coordinator could manage. And so... I would come in to write a grant on the day that we were starting. I would come in with research on the issue so that I could state the problem clearly and so forth. Bob would come in with a list of words that he had picked up from a reading the night before. All kinds of things. Savage, refrigerator, whatever. Just a list of words. And our task was to write a narrative that explained the problems and to sneak in these words. And we did it.
You're kidding me.
No. I wish I still had some of those lists.
So how important was he to what Whitebird is today?
He was integral to every part of it. He helped. He was a very principled person, and he used values whether they were in his self-interest or not. For example, the collective really was inspired and formed by his careful thinking and planning, and then used the community of staff to help develop how we grew and how we thought about ourselves. He sort of helped us learn our own values.
Right.
And they've continued to today.
Christy, let me ask you this. Why do you still do this?
Because I'm part of something something important to my community that I wouldn't have the chance to give otherwise.
What does it do for you?
I feel pleased. I feel lucky. I'm part of an important dysfunctional family.
and those are your coworkers.
That's exactly.
Aren't we all?
Yeah.
So the people that come through your door, what have you learned? I mean, I know you can't tell me everything, but when the folks that come in here, your clients, what do you learn from them that is just magic?
That everybody has a story, and that all of us have a whole bunch of things in common. It's like I could be any of those people, so could any of us. And they're part of us. It's like you can't throw away a brother or sister.
Right. And we so easily do in our culture, don't we?
Yeah.
So I was amazed. I didn't know when talking to Benji and Carl and some of you guys, I mean, just recently, how many people work here? I mean, good gosh, it's half the city. If you're an activist in town, you were already working here probably, huh?
Or you've been trained here.
Or you've got services here.
Yeah.
You have a lot of people like that, don't you?
We do. I think making $200 a month. That was it. The idea of a collective is that everybody has the same salary. Right now, just as a part of the influence that Bob had, the salary between the top paid program, basic staff, and the bottom is not greater than 25%.
Huh.
So that means, and speaking of not in his interests, everybody, the admin team makes the exact middle, not the high salary.
And how many of there? Just how many are there?
Oh,
There's
so
like
we went from
170.
170 roughly.
You guys, there's 170 people who work through Whitebird.
The truth is, most of us only work part-time. We work another job often so that we can afford to work
So
here.
is this your joy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is this your peace?
Yes. Yeah.
Human beings are pretty funny, aren't they?
We are. Bob's concession to working with the county suits was to, I mean, he always wore jeans and a t-shirt, sometimes an overshirt, but he didn't dress up for work. And when he had to go out to a meeting in the community, he didn't dress for that either, except that on the back of the door, he had a suede jacket. And
a hat.
And a hat.
So,
but the fun thing, you've seen pictures of Bob, so you know.
Oh, I interviewed Bob.
Okay, so you know the hair, long,
yeah.
a little bit curly, and never tidy. And even though I would sit in.
Yeah, here.
That's his haircut.
This is his haircut.
Yeah, and
he's like a beetle.
Exactly.
You know.
Although he really preferred Dylan.
Yeah, well, I would suspect so. So I want to get really fast because somebody came out here. Hi, Christiana. Christiana, I'm sorry. Somebody came on here and said, "Oh my gosh, I want to volunteer there." How do people get involved with Whitebird?
Well,
did you see her eyes light up? Oh my gosh! Yeah. Did you see? You said the V word.
Exactly. Volunteers, they're adored here. They're called. We don't call them volunteers, we call them staff. We have both paid and unpaid staff.
Okay.
But to come into, Benja's better at this. Because,
No, just do it.
Okay.
If you screw up anything, we're going to talk to him in a minute anyway.
He can fix
He'll
it.
just correct you, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you throw in a call to Whitebird and you say, I want to volunteer, and the volunteer coordinator gets hold of you, does a quick interview, and you get invited to our volunteer it's called new staff orientation.
Okay.
But it's like Wednesday nights at 6 o'clock. Do I have the time right? For like 8 weeks. And you learn.
Put your website up there for you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Jocelyn.
Okay.
Thank you, Jocelyn. Our volunteer Jocelyn put that up for you.
Yay! Our unpaid staff.
So should people be warned though? If you do volunteer or become a staff at Whitebird, your heart will grow, or something's going to happen. You will never be the same, or something
That's
like that.
absolutely true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
you
sure.
get your eyes opened, your heart opened. Yeah. And you belong to a new family.
And all of a sudden, you discover what being human really is. I got to go back and talk to Benja, but
Please do.
I love your face.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I love the way you talk. Come here, Ben. Oh, you know what? We can actually.
No, I'll get
Here, because then that'll give my arm a break. Dude, and I gotta tell you, this is awesome.
Yeah, thanks. I
Love this
appreciate
guy's
it.
beard.
Yeah, that'll be my signature trademark.
Ooh, I don't get to do that.
Bob had his crazy hair. I'll keep my goatee.
Rick Pape says, great people. Jocelyn says, yes, I would like to volunteer too.
Okay, yeah, and the other route in is you can always give us a call, but you're also welcome to hit our website that they just listed there, and there are some links to be able to volunteer with us, and folks will get back. Hi, Rainbow. How are you doing? That's
she's
that's
awesome.
actually one of our paramedic volunteers. You know, and actually, let me talk about that piece real quick. So, one of the other things that Bob was really instrumental in was in our fundraising arm. Now, he was instrumental
guys, this thing is having problems today.
he was instrumental in doing fundraising through our Cleveland Chicken booth, which is out at Oregon Country Fair, and we actually have a booth out there that serves up chicken, and we make a little bit of money off that for our homeless department, and then kind of distribute it to our different departments.
So that's a way people could help raise funds for you.
Right.
is to
Stop by
support
the
like that.
Stop by the Cleveland Chicken booth out at Fair this year. Some hearts, I'll take that. And then one of the other things that we do, though, that's one of our main fundraisers is our rock medicine program, where we actually set up hospitals and do psychedelic harm reduction, as well as run hospitals. Doctors, nurses, paramedics like Rainbow volunteer with us. And it really helps to bring a lot of money back into the clinic to provide even more services for folks here in Eugene. And everybody that does that volunteers their time over usually pretty long working weekends in order to be able to bring back some money to help serve our clients.
Well,
here.
Rainbow's got a pretty big heart already anyway.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, we had her in a video. I love this woman.
Okay.
Lindsay Wilson says, so grateful for your services, especially for Cahoots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a story Bob shared with me about the
Lindsay, I
Cahoots.
think, works in the, and you can correct me, Lindsay, but I think she works in the mental health industry.
Okay. Yeah, one of the things that one of the stories Bob always told was that they weren't sure that they were going to get the initial pilot funding for the Cahoots program, but it turned out that when it actually went to City Council for a vote, we had somebody that wasn't even, that we weren't sure was going to be on, with us, behind us, who actually stood up and said, Whitebird helped one of my family members. And really, I know they're good people. I know they'll do this work well. And that person ended up being kind of the swing vote on the city council at that time. And that's a piece of that, how we've always built on the rapport of all the work that Whitebird's done since the very beginning here.
MJ Smith's on here. She says, I'll check out the website. Thank you for helping out our teens. I work with kids in foster care. I used to work for teens for years. Sorry, got a fire engine going by. That's just what happens with live.
That's right.
Oh, Lindsay is an inpatient over at Peace Health. So
thank you, Lindsay,
she's
for the work
always-
that you do.
Yeah, she's always really big and bold on talking about mental health issues and that kind of stuff. So how else can people help you guys out? Give us one more. So again, you guys, it's putting on the Dritz. It's a celebration of the foundation of Whitebird. Many foundations, but it's particularly Bob Dritz. And it's going to be at the Wow Hall. Live music, fun. Kind of a celebration, but if you knew Bob, it's a celebration of craziness. So it's going to be really fun and a chance to honor Whitebird and all the things that they do here.
Yep. And any way that people can support us, we're always open to that. If you want to come and lend your hands and your heart, then we're always open to that. If you have the ability to bring us, in-kind donations, stuff that you want to be able to share, old clothes, things like that we can share with other folks that are coming here looking for services when they're in need, then we're always open to those kinds of donations. We also have links that if you did know Bob and want to give something kind of in memory of him, we're setting up a Bob Dritz Memorial Fund. Have a couple of different ideas in the works for ways that we might target some of those funds, but those are all kind of different ways that you can reach out and help support the work that we do here locally. And I really appreciate you, Rick, kind of giving your time and energy to help us set this up
I
here.
hope we do some more of this because I think you guys really need to understand who they are and what they do and get the community, because a lot of us talk about downtown and things going on, and I'd rather do something. I mean, I think action is better than chat. And so we can talk till we're blue in the face, but unless we really do something, we're just kind of spinning and becoming part of the problem. So hopefully we'll get some more stuff, maybe go do something with Cahoots and kind of show you guys what's going on. Next time I'm not going to hook my mic up to this thing because this thing will hold it up. That I was trying something new with you to see if we could get a better sound quality, but we're fine. So again, you guys, putting on the Dritz, Saturday, 7 o'clock. You can buy tickets at the door. You can go online, find out more information about it. And here's the other thing you can do right off the bat. You guys can, I'm going to do something really quick here. You guys can take this and post it right to your page right now. That's all you have to do, because then anybody coming to your page is going to see it. If you know someone else who might be interested or who knew Bob, post it to their page. That's how you can help Whitebird, just by doing very little and just sharing this on your page, okay?
Yeah, and please spread the word. And Whitebird Clinic also has a Facebook page if you want to follow some of the information news that we kind of share out on a regular basis, as well as any kind of upcoming activities or ways to help support the work that we do. Please stop by that Facebook page and check us out there.
Lizzie says she gives out your phone number a couple of times a day.
Perfect.
So, and the other thing I hope after hearing this conversation, be nice. I mean, treat people with respect. And if you don't have anything nice to say, then just shut up. You
Right.
know?
Thank
It's kind
you.
of a good thing to do. Thanks, you guys. Hey, Rainbow, talk to you soon. Thanks for sharing, guys. See you later.
Thanks, Rick.
You're welcome. Bye.